Welcome to this explainer. Look, if you're an ESL teacher, you already know that keeping your students totally engaged while juggling your own massive workload, well, it can honestly feel like an impossible balancing act sometimes. Today, we're diving into a super practical, empowering toolkit of modern digital strategies built specifically for the ESL classroom. We're going to explore how to boost student engagement, crank up that speaking time, and literally save you hours of prep. And the best part? The visuals you'll see throughout this explainer are designed to perfectly illustrate the concepts we're chatting about, making it super easy to follow along without the tech overpowering that human connection we all love about teaching.
Because your time is incredibly valuable, we've structured this entirely around your actual daily journey as a teacher. We're going to hit 5 key areas today: pre-class prep with AI, in-class engagement, activating speaking skills, hybrid lessons and assessment, and finally, meaningful integration.
All right, let's jump right in with Section 1, Pre-Class Prep with AI. It's all about saving time and planning smart.
So picture this. It's the night before a lesson, and you're just staring at a blank screen trying to magically formulate the perfect activity. We've all been there, right? Instead of spending 20 minutes, actually, let's be real, sometimes it's more like an hour, writing a realistic conversation from scratch, tools like ChatGPT or Magic School AI make the workflow insanely simple. Step 1, you input a super specific prompt like, create a dialogue at the airport for A2 students. Step 2, the AI instantly generates appropriately leveled text. And step 3, your students are in class practicing that exact dialogue in pairs. Just like that, you've generated customized, differentiated content in seconds. It totally frees you up to actually focus on teaching and interacting rather than just typing out content.
But, this brings up a pretty vital question. How can we use AI responsibly in ESL classrooms? While AI saves a ton of time and definitely sparks creativity, we have to acknowledge the flip side. There's a real risk of over-reliance, or the AI spitting out incorrect information, or students just straight up copying answers. Think of AI as your overly enthusiastic assistant, not your replacement. It still absolutely requires your expert teacher guidance to shape those raw, generated ideas into a proper, pedagogically sound lesson.
Moving right along to Section 2, In-Class Engagement, using games and visuals to hook your learners.
Okay, so the prep is done. Your students are finally in the room, and now we need to capture their attention. We've got to avoid that dreaded silent stare down. Think of gamification as your rapid-fire engagement toolkit. You could launch a fast-paced vocabulary race using quizzes, or maybe ignite some friendly competition with a grammar battle in Kahoot. Or if you really want to push collaboration, set up a digital escape room where students solve puzzles together to break out. The energy these tools bring to a room is undeniable. It's an instant motivation booster. But remember, the game must always support the learning objective. It can't just be entertainment for the sake of entertainment.
Now, stepping away from games for a second, we really need to ask, what exactly is visual literacy? In our modern digital age, it's the absolutely crucial ability to understand and communicate through images. And in the ESL classroom, it is a total game changer. It develops critical thinking and is honestly perfect for mixed ability learners. By leveraging platforms like Canva, Padlet, or Pinterest, we can use images as a highly effective low-stress bridge to language.
For example, by putting specific visual literacy prompts on your whiteboard while the class analyzes a photo, an ad, or even a funny meme, you completely structure their thinking process. Ask them, what can you see? What happened before? What will happen next? What can you see? Is such a safe, descriptive starting point for anyone. Then, pushing into narrative and predictive tenses gives every single student, especially those shy ones, a really comfortable, structured framework to begin speaking and practicing their critical thinking skills.
Which brings us perfectly to Section 3. Activating speaking skills. How do we actually increase student speaking time?
I honestly think this is one of the most powerful applications of technology we have. Voice messages and video interviews. They allow shy students to participate actively without all that overwhelming pressure. Technology acts as a beautiful bridge for that one quiet student who just freezes when called upon in front of 20 peers. By letting them record an audio response on platforms like Flip or Vocaroo, instead of doing traditional written homework, they get to participate actively. They're practicing spoken English, but completely outside the intense glare of the classroom spotlight.
Imagine setting up an active online role-play activity for, say, an A2 shopping scenario. We just directly split the interaction right down the middle. Student A is the customer asking for prices, and Student B is the shop assistant managing the transaction. You can pair them up in Zoom breakout rooms to practice and even have them record their dialogue online. It's structured, it's communicative, and it drastically maximizes the time each student spends actually speaking the language, rather than just sitting there listening to you talk.
All right, let's dive into Section 4, Hybrid Lessons and Assessment, connecting our learners no matter where they are.
Okay, navigating an environment where some students are sitting right in front of you and others are squares on a screen, it can be incredibly overwhelming. One tech failure or a misplaced mic and everything kind of derails. But consider this hybrid lesson flow on the topic of food. Notice how the labor is divided up but totally complementary. Step 1, your in-class students are hands-on creating physical food posters. Meanwhile, in Step 2, your online students are researching and adding recipes digitally. Step 3 brings them all together. Groups merge their work to create one cohesive digital restaurant menu. Finally, in Step 4, they present it together. Everyone collaborates meaningfully regardless of where they're physically sitting. It's a logistical win.
But how do we know if any of these hybrid activities are actually working? That's where formative assessment comes in. You know, that ongoing evaluation right in the middle of a lesson to immediately improve learning. Instead of waiting weeks for a final exam, we can use quick, low-prep digital tools like Google Forms, Socrative, or Mentimeter to just take the temperature of the room. A simple exit ticket asking, "What new word did you learn today?" gives you instant, actionable data on their comprehension.
Another incredibly powerful tool here is self-assessment. Providing students with crystal clear "I can" statements lets them truly take ownership of their learning. After a lesson, asking them to literally check off "I can ask about prices" or "I can work in a group" builds so much confidence. You can even pair this with peer assessment, asking students to give a classmate one digital compliment and one suggestion. It's fantastic for community building.
And finally, we arrive at Section 5, Meaningful Integration, putting pedagogy first.
Let's be totally real here. Sometimes you are just seriously short on time. Maybe a lesson finished early, or maybe you literally only had 5 minutes to plan your whole morning. Having a toolkit of 5-minute low-prep activities is an absolute lifesaver. Need to activate prior knowledge? Boom, use an online word cloud to brainstorm vocabulary. Need to wrap up a thought? Do a quick exit ticket with one reflection question. Want to spark a spicy debate? Run a digital poll. Need a rapid warm-up? Fire up a random question generator for spontaneous speaking. Using super simple tools like WordWall or Canva templates, these quick hits ensure your students are constantly building critical thinking and media literacy skills, even when you haven't had hours to prep.
I love this quote so much because it basically serves as the thesis for everything we've covered today. Digital tools are most powerful when they help students speak, create, and connect. Ultimately, whether you are using an AI prompt to generate a script, running a digital escape room to teach grammar, or building a collaborative digital menu in a hybrid class, the technology is just a vehicle. It should always support human communication. It should never replace it.
So as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a final, thought-provoking question to chew on. How can we balance technology and real interaction to ensure our digital ESL lessons remain truly student-centered? As you reflect on which of these tools, quizzes, Padlet, ChatGPT, will fit best into your unique classroom vibe, keep this question front and center. Keep pushing to make every single digital moment a meaningful opportunity for your students to communicate, collaborate, and truly connect. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and happy teaching.